whether or not you should main a character in this game. Something that has been brought to my attention across multiple different YouTube videos I've seen online is that people have been maining different characters: Yinlin, Jian, Alto, Sanhua, right? Chixia. People have been picking their mains and being able to clear really difficult content just by hyper investing into those mains and nobody else really. And something that has been kind of brought to my attention is that they're also seeming to have easier clears in the Tower of Ascension or Adversity, which, you know, I sit here and I'm thinking, like, how is that exactly
You done staring?
possible when you're hyper investing in one character or one team and not the 3 teams you need? The reason why is because their one team is clearing the hardest content, which, I mean, right now, especially as not Giga Whales, who are just farming up into like UL 55 plus right now. We are stuck at level 60 and 70 characters. We kind of can't get the base scalings and damage output of all these maxed out characters yet. And even then, it's going to be expensive to do so in the first place. Building 9 characters is very difficult, but building
No
2
rush. The impatient ones will fall right
really
into
good
our lap.
characters, and then maybe like, yeah, because one character can handle one side boss plus one of the middle bosses. The other one can handle the other side boss plus the middle bosses, and then you just have like slightly weaker characters handle all the trash mob waves. Which, I mean, as long as you have Yang built with like AoE, you just like, not even built, just Yang groups them, and then anybody goes in and cleans them up. You only have to build 1, 2, 3,
You done staring?
4, 5 characters, maybe 5, which is a little bit easier on accounts. The other thing as well is just being able to clear things. It goes, farming's faster, you know, you're able to do these holograms, technical holograms. You're able to do the roguelike mode depending on the character a lot easier. You're able to farm events and everything else just way easier, and just have a better time farming for your next character in this game, as well as the final thing, you're able to have more fun with the characters you want. I just saw this. I'm going to go grab this. So maining a character is a little different than like in Genshin Impact, for example, or Star Rail even. What am I doing here? Star Rail even is a little different. Can't see nothing. There we go. Because in Genshin Impact, it's about having the team, right? You want to build the team to be able to do the right elemental thingies to get the most damage, like Hyper Bloom and Vaporize and all this stuff. In Star Rail, you want to have the right team to get the kind of goal in mind that you have set and really exemplify that damage output. In this game, it's a lot less about team building. It's a lot more about your skill set and the investment you have into your character. And this is similar in a way to Kuro Games' other game, Punishing Grey Raven. Your team matters. I just want to, you know, make that clear, especially if you don't have the right support or right defense shredding tank. Some bosses get real hard, but with the new Generation 2 attackers, pretty much, a lot of them can just clear most of the content alone with proper investment, like Lucia Crimson Weave, who I have in PGR. I don't play the game very much anymore because I have this, but she doesn't really actually have any support. I think now she does have an amplifying character that buffs her damage output, but realistically she doesn't have a lot of supporters that are particularly viable anymore. Lightning is the worst attribute in that game, except that that character carries it to be one of the best attributes in the game, because that character is just obscene, and then you build them and then they clear all the content. And I think this game is very similar actually, and it also ties into your sequences and weapons. Yinlin with no sequences is very, very good, but with sequences, deals more damage, recovers energy, damage multiplier. This is damn near double damage. Like at up until rank, I believe, or level 9 for her punishment mark on her Forte circuit, this is over doubling her damage, and then it goes a little bit less than double at like level 9 and 10. This increases attack of team members. This deals more damage with her ult, and then this is actually like a massive breakpoint. Her S6 is genuinely stupid and makes her probably the best main DPS in the game, even over Gion, if Gion is at S0, I think. Weapon resonances, weapon ranks, increase a lot. 3% more attribute, another 3%, so another 6% total resonance skill damage, and then another 6% total as well if they're not on the field, and that just stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks. So weapon resonance is also mattering a lot more. Same with Gion. His weapons resonance gets very, very good. The buff goes up by about 6%, stacking up to 2 times, so it's about 12%, just like the String Master on Yinlin. So the weapon ranks also matter a lot, and then his sequences as well. It's like S1, he gets to use his skill one more time, and the resolve cost is decreased, which allows him to not have to charge it as much. His intro skill gives him resolve and a big attack boost, and this is actually a really big sequence for his rotation, because he instantly can hop in and then pop his ult off of S2 with a big attack boost. So very helpful to his rotations. S3, he gets extra crit damage and crit rate, which is just very, very good. His S4, his heavy attack damage bonus of all team members, including himself, increases when he ults. His S5, you know, his outro skill is increased. The damage multiplier, his attack is increased when he hits a target up to 15 times, which after he intro skills, it's maxed out instantly. So what is that? 3 times 15 is 45% attack boost just there. And then his S6, you know, is just really, 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 really good. I think all the 5-star S6s are just really broken. When he heavy attacks, intros, or uses his skill, he gains a momentum stack. His ult consumes all momentum and increases the damage multiplier of the ult by 120% for the finale version, right? Just more scaling to go off of all of his other buffs. You know, getting a character fully built like Colcharo, his S6 is a very good damage boost as well. Encore, her S6, a pretty good attack bonus, you know. More so limited characters for sure, because I mean the standard characters can't be as strong. But Danjin, for example, damage boost, damage boost, damage boost, damage boost, damage boost, damage boost. Also, this one increases her crit rate. Like, there are characters where investing in them massively benefits you massively. In Genshin Impact, the only one that comes off the top of my head, again, I have not played in probably a year and a half now, maybe 2 years even. Kazuha? Kazuha? Yeah. Not Kazuya, that's Tekken. Kazuha? He required, I believe it was like literally his S6 or his C6, because it changed the way he played and turned him basically into a pseudo main DPS elemental swirl character instead of just a little bit of a grouper, right? It was dumb. It changed his rotation. He could like double up on his things. His constellations were absurdly important for the value of he gave on an account, right? Having a weapon that benefited him as well, gave him like elemental mastery and stuff, mattered also. I think he's the only one, because Raiden Shogun, for example, I think her C2 mattered a little bit for damage output, but it didn't really make too much of a difference for how she played and how good she was. Xiangling didn't care. Bennett only needed his C1, and if I remember correctly, you didn't want a certain constellation of his. Which might have been C2. I don't exactly remember with him. It might be C6 or something like that. C5, C6. But Bennett only needed a little bit. And then aside from that, it's like Xingqiu didn't need any. And that was like the best team for the longest time. Now you've got like this Hyper Bloom team and Kuki Shinobu. They don't need anything, and then the team's done, right? Most of the 5 stars didn't need anything. You know, like Shao didn't need anything. I'm just trying to like think. Yoimiya didn't really need anything. No one needed a massive amount of investment or better weapons. Really, there's a lot of free-to-play options that just worked fine, and a lot of it was just your artifact investment. This game, Echo investment is not as good as sequences and as weapon ranks, because the weapons just give massive boosts, more so than just a slightly more optimized Echo, and then your sequences gives stupid boosts. I think a grand example would be Changling, or when she Changli, I don't know how to say her name properly. Back half 1.1 banner. Her S6 increases her defense shred by like 40 or 45%. That is a massive damage boost, because the more defense you shred, it's not just a linear, oh, you're getting a 50% damage boost. No. It's all of your other boosts exponentially tick up in value. Defense shred is the like least diminishing return. It's arguably, I don't know what the opposite of diminishing would be. It is a increasing return the more defense you shred due to how the damage is calculated. Her S6 is stupid, and it's also so stupid and to the point where I might skip Jinshi just to try to go for S6 on her, because she'd be awesome, right? Jinshi requires S2 to be able to play her on quick swap, pretty much. Otherwise, she has a much slower rotation, and even then, you're only getting 40 stacks of her incandescence or whatever it's called. Twice a fight, and the second time's already when you wouldn't get 3 stars anymore, right? So there's characters in this game, especially as the newer 5-star characters come out, where their sequences are going to matter a lot. And you're going to want to pull multiple copies. Punching Grey Raven was very much the same way, where if you didn't pull multiple copies, some characters were just not viable at all. Because to get them to S rank, SS rank, SSS rank, they gained certain passives and certain effects, and some attacks got buffs that made the character, right? This game, it's not going to be quite that extreme, and it's not that extreme yet, but I mean, grand example for a 4-star Yang. At S5, her ult, the damage doubles practically. S4, her mid-air attack Forte circuit doubles, right? Double damage off of all the other scalings. I mean, we don't see that in other games of this type, right? They're taking a much different approach with this game, and they're making it to where you want to basically pick your characters that you learn the iframes, you learn the combos, the strategy, your dodge windows, your parry frames, everything. You're trying to learn literally everything about your character to handle these harder bosses. And we also have to realize too, right now the bosses are easy. Wuthering Waves, Kuro Games themselves have said the bosses in the first map are easy mode bosses to ease people into how much harder the game is going to get. And the bosses are already pretty hard at a higher level. The tactical holograms, for example, some of the mechanics they get are pretty crazy, right? So we're in easy mode. So no wonder we're able to barely build a couple characters, smash them into a team, buff each other, and have one character deal okay damage and be able to clear things, right? What we really want is to have a couple of our characters that we really hyper invest into as our damage dealers, especially with us only being a month in. We can't be spreading our resources thin, right? To clear content, we need the damage. We need to just have our mains. We need to just have our damage dealers. My mains are basically Yinlin, because she just outdeals everybody else on my account right now for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, she only has 55% crit rate, plus 15 after her skill, and 236% crit damage and 1400 attack, and like 70 some odd percent, 80% electro damage bonus, and skill damage bonus at 36%. I don't know why she's doing so much damage, right? But she's outdealing my Calcharo, which admittedly needs like better echoes, but she's outdealing my Calcharo. She's outdealing my Gion. I don't understand this one actually, because my Gion, his echoes aren't quite leveled. They could be, but stat-wise, he should be able to at least be keeping up a little bit. He actually deals such bad damage with his best-in-slot weapon that my level 40 Alto with an Undying Flame, also both underleveled, with the same echoes, has better damage output than my Gion. I actually don't understand that, but I am planning on switching to maining Alto as my arrow DPS because A, I have his third sequence, which just is like the main damage bonus for him. Second, he's way more fun to play than Gion. Gion's extremely boring, which is another thing we have to think about. Build characters you have fun with. Every character in this game can be a DPS. Yuanwu can be a DPS. I've seen great damage showcases with this guy. Chixia, Alto, Yang, Baizhi. I've seen DPS Baizhi. Does she heal? No. Is her damage scaling particularly great? No, but she can attack while walking around the enemy from a distance. So she's safe. And with proper investment, I mean, her damage will be there. Her scalings aren't terrible. They're just not bursty. She's very much a sustained on field. This is the character I like. I'm going to build them and they're going to be my character, right? I've seen a little bit of DPS and Mortifi. Not a lot from him, but I've seen like one or two. I've seen lots of Danjin. I mean, Danjin's probably one of the best characters you can invest in, is just like this is my main character. Another character I'm building for a bit of a secret build I'm cooking up for 1.1. I've not seen DPS Verena. This is the one that I don't think I've actually seen a DPS build for. Then again, I don't think it'd be very easy to build her DPS, but you never know. I've seen great Sanhua showcases. Her damage output and just the way she plays looks so refined. It's crazy. Obviously, both Spectro and Havoc Rover are great DPSs. I've definitely seen a bunch of Encore mains. Definitely a bunch of Gion mains, especially Whales, like a S6 R5 Gion. Millions of damage. It's a lot. Like, admittedly, there's some whale shenanigans going on, but I mean, this is the thing with free-to-plays too, is eventually we're going to get enemies where I don't care how good your team is, if your damage output isn't there, even with your teammates supporting you, which isn't like a big requirement for investment anyways, it's like your DPS ain't going to do it. You know, having that S6 R5 DPS that maybe as a free-to-play you save up a couple patches, and maybe you save up and patch 1.2, 1.3 maybe, Scar comes out, right? And everyone's like, oh my god, Scar, but you, instead of having an S0 R1 Scar, you have an S6 R5 Scar. And your Scar's crazy, right? And your Scar clears all the content. And then you have just your guy, right? Investing in characters is very important in this game. It's not so much a collect them all, although I want to. I like playing with everybody, but it's a lot more a pick your favorites, pick your mains, and go. This is why they give us in the events tab, they give us character trials. You know, Yinlin. I don't have Yinlin. This lets me play as Yinlin and see how she plays and see if I like her. Even the 4 stars, Taoshi, Alto, Yuanwu, right? And I'll tell you right now, I like Alto. We can even do a game right here with Alto. Alto's pretty cool, because if you just learn how to play him right, you know, you just boom, and then do-do-do-do-do-do-do, and then the jump shots. His jump shots are actually pretty crazy. And then you do this with the mist you get, boom, shoot a couple times through it. Do this, and then you get your mist again. You basically can't get hit in this mode. You can ult, although you should ult closer to the enemies a little bit more point blank. It does damage. And I mean, you can play whoever you want. as long as you're good, you don't take any damage. By not getting hit, by knowing how to play your character, you get higher damage output than you otherwise would, playing someone that you're not as good at or that is a little less safe even. You can just pretty much build whoever you want, but as long as they're invested, they're gonna do better. Like this Alto does next to no damage, but my Alto does way more because he's S3. S3 basically at least doubles his damage. It's a pretty extreme difference.
Better keep up. How's that for a magic trick? Right back.
So, I mean, you kind of get the gist, like, this is no damage, this is an underinvested character, but you get those higher levels of investment. Alto, I think, is probably one of the better DPSs in the game right now. I know in my tier list, I put him in, like, what was it, C tier? Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I think he's one of the better DPSs in the game since the whole mid-air attack thing. I figured that out. I didn't figure that out, but I found it on YouTube and learned about it, right? He's actually a stupidly good character. And I mean, having him S3 helps a lot, right? Having a good weapon helps a lot. In Genshin, it didn't matter. In Star Rail, it doesn't matter as much as just having the characters. In this game, it's not about having the characters to support your DPS. It's just making your DPSs really strong. Like, I really do think that is going to be the case. Is just getting really good and making your DPSs really strong. In the obviously having the supports help a lot, and your damage output increases a lot. Like Gion is worse without. Okay, shut up, Taoshi, please. Gion is a lot worse without Mortifi, right? That just is a thing. But I mean, it's still Gion. And diminishing returns, buffs only go so far, right? When your character's already built so strong, buffs only go so far. If you have the right substats, your heavy damage bonus on all your echoes, your buffs from like Mortifi's outro doesn't do as much as it would if you had none, right? Diminishing returns. I think getting S6 characters is going to be more important, and getting R5 weapons is going to be more important than getting multiple characters and getting the DPS or the support for your team. Like, an S6 support is going to just support everybody way better than an S0 support will. Grand example, Verina. I know for a fact that her sequences are going to make her drastically better. Like, what's her S6? We'll just go to her S6. She deals 20% more damage. She triggers coordinated attacks and heals all characters nearby. And it is healing. It's tied to her ult, so she's a better healer. She's a better healer and has a little bit more damage output. Right here, her healing's increased when a team member's got less than half health. Right here. Spectro damage bonus by all team members. Like, this basically allows her to support in a mono Spectro team Jinshi, right? Right here. She gets more healing. Right here. She gets more healing and concerto energy. And right here. She gets more healing. As a healer, that's her goal. Her sequences matter. I mean, she's going to be healing at least twice as good by S6. Healers, you know, being less, not viable, but less important. Let's see. Good energy regen. Healing bonus. Healing bonus. Healing and damage bonus. A straight up revive mechanic. Your guy dies? No, they didn't. They're at full health. I don't know what you're talking about. Once every 10 minutes? Nah, they didn't die. I don't know what your problem is. You know? This is huge for Baizhi. This makes Baizhi actually good for players who are just like not able to keep their characters alive. Now their characters is alive. Right? Like a Gion, who just gets against a boss that doesn't have parry windows and just hits you because they want to. Morning aches. That boss sucks. Now, when you do your whole combo and Gion shreds half their health, but then dies because he's just getting hit the whole time he's in his ult. Now, oh, he's back, and you ult again, and you kill the boss. Her S6, Glacio damage bonus, which makes her technically the best Glacio support character in the game. S6 allows her to be a very more specialized Glacio support. You know, there's just, even the supports, I mean, it matters. It matters. I think every character, it matters. Taoshi. Basic and heavy attack gets big damage boost. Big damage boost. Heals and damage boost. Extends her things so that she protects your characters while she's not on the field better. And herself better. Big damage boost for her ult. More shield. Value. Outside of just stats. Sequences have so much value. Weapon ranks to increase those passive effects have so much value. Picking characters you love and enjoy and maining them is 100% for the longevity of the game going to be more important than just building a bunch of characters a little bit to have the teams that are the best, right? We are not as players, as free-to-plays, and as dolphins especially, we're not in the position to be building the best teams. We should be building the best characters, or our favorite characters, to clear all of our content. Because I'll tell you right now, if I had an Alto at S3 only, that's all you need, with like the 5-star standard banner weapon, which you can pick at UL 45, with the echoes that person that I've been watching has farmed and farmed and farmed and farmed to get the greatest echoes ever. If I had that build, I'd be able to clear the level 90 and level 100 boss in the TOA with that Alto. Their damage is absurd. It's more than one bullet from that Alto does more than my Yinlin's ult. Like, actually, my ult deals a couple thousand damage, like probably 15 to 18,000 damage ish. I mean, I can actually look. How many times does it strike? How many times does it strike? 7 times. Strike 7 times for about 3,000 damage a piece. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. 21,000 damage. For her ult. This person's Alto could get a mist up and then just like mid-air shot through the mist repeatedly and deal like 3,000 or so damage per shot. They can shoot 8 times maybe before they hit the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like pew, 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 and then they hit the ground. And all their bullets are basically tripled. A bit less damage, but they're tripled. And there's no cooldown. I mean, their Alto's insane. Their damage is crazy. My Alto's insane. My Alto out damages my Gion because my Gion relies so heavily on his damn ult. My Alto's better. Like, I don't know why. His scalings doesn't exactly point to that. He shouldn't be better, but my Alto's better. He doesn't have the crit rate. He doesn't have the crit damage. He's better. At lower level, lower investment, he's better. I don't get it, but he is. And I'm going to build him because he's fun and he's cool. And Gion's boring. And Alto has a higher uptime. And he's a cooler DPS. Danjin I'm going to build because she's fun. And she's like the most Wuthering Waves character in the game. All of her iframes, her parry windows. She's a very like, you have to be good at the game character. She, like, you know how people in fighting games is like, this is the most Tekken character, right? Like Kazuya is the most Tekken character. The most like, you have to be good at executing all your combos and all your buttons and all this stuff, right? Danjin's that for Wuthering Waves. You have to be good at Wuthering Waves to play Danjin. She's the most Wuthering Waves character. And she's also sick. And I have her S6, so her damage scalings are beyond, right? And she's going to be great to build. I'm going to get her the sword. At UL 45, which I'm about there. I'm going to get her that 5-star sword. So she scales crit rate and all of the other buffs. And she's just going to go nuts. And I'm going to get really good at the game for it. Because trust me, I'm not good enough at the game to play Danjin. But Danjin's going to force me to be good enough at the game. And I'm just going to get better. I'm going to be better at the game. And that is part of playing Wuthering Waves, is you have to get good. And it's going to translate to later when bosses get stupid. Because I have the firm belief that some of these bosses are going to end up turning into an actual scary boss fight. None of them particular, like the most, I would say the scariest boss fight, or it's like the most skill issue, is probably the Scar fight. Because he will just command grab you. If you do not dodge right, it's not even if you don't dodge, because he'll just grab you out of it. It's actually kind of wild how that hitbox works. If you don't dodge correctly, he will grab you and like literally at higher levels just kill your character. I'm actually excited for eventually there will be a Scar Tacit Discord. Not Tacit Discord, Tactical Hologram. There will be a Tactical Hologram for Scar, and it will be probably the hardest boss we will have to fight for a long time. The next boss in 1.1, Jue. We're gonna have to fight a dragon? Boss might be pretty big. Boss might be like playing Snake. You don't know. Snake's a pretty hard game to beat. You have to do a lot of planning ahead, right? Maybe with Jue, there's some skill issues involved. Or maybe he's just an easy boss to kill, but maybe there's skill issues involved. The Echo is super strong. I wouldn't put it past him. So being able to have that character to clear that content and being able to have the skill to clear that content with that character is very, very important. And I mean, my Yinlin's built. She's not perfect. This piece, this piece is like pretty good. It's a low roll crit damage. But this piece is pretty good. Like this piece could be better. Flat attack and flat defense could be better. This piece could be better. This piece could be better. This piece could be better. I had to think about that one for a minute. Those were a lot of pretty good stats, but this piece could be better. All my pieces could be better. I mean, she could go from this to like 1800 attack. She could gain another 20% crit rate or energy regen. She could gain another 20% crit rate. She could gain another like 40% crit damage. Her damage could skyrocket. I mean, really, my Yinlin is built okay, but she's not strong. Because I don't hyper invest. I've been building other characters. I've been getting pieces on other characters. I mean, Moonlit pieces at least are nice to farm. Because having at least the 5, it doesn't matter if your character is built. Just the buff of outroing out is nice. Like, yes, you should invest in some of your support-esque and sub-DPS characters to at least be able to get the benefits of the Echo sets, right? Maybe some energy regen if they need it for like their ult, because their ult's like valuable to buffing your team, whatever. But for your DPSs should be the hyper investments. I've seen a lot of people have been asking me in the comments like, hey, I've got these, and I'm not doing enough damage. It's like, I'll tell you why you're not doing enough damage. You're not building your DPSs right. And it kind of woke me up to it too. And it's like, I'm not building my DPSs right. I'm not building my DPSs really at all. I'm building supports. What am I doing here? I don't need to be building supports. They're not gonna buff my damage enough if my DPSs aren't dealing enough damage to begin with. So should you main a character in Wuthering Waves? My vote is, yeah, you should. My vote is, talk to me when I have S6 Changli. Because I'm gonna shred 50 some odd % of a boss's defense and hit them for 1 million damage with her ultimate or her forte circuit. And there's gonna be explosions and fireworks after I one tap the max level Impermanent Terran.